The heat escalated to the point where Bill felt it was necessary to protect his wife and children by placing them in hiding for their own safety. It was now Bill and Doyle fighting the federal government on what seemed to be phantom charges.
Towards maybe the last 8 months or so of his life, because of events happening around the world and then culminating in 9/11, as far as world-type events, Bill really turned the heat up on the people that would see this country's demise on his broadcast and on his website. And at that point, a person could tell if they had watched the happenings and knew the facts, not just the crap that was put in a paper here and there about Bill or the situation here, and had done their research, that now it wasn't a matter of if but when for Bill's demise.
In August of 2001, a local doctor by the name of Scott Hamlin had reported to local Eager police that he had been harassed while parked on Bill's Hill by a man who followed him, pulled out a gun, and threatened him in front of his wife and kids. Even though it could not be proven that it was Bill, law enforcement now had a reason for serving a warrant for his arrest.
Dr. Hamlin had been going up and playing real petty little games at night and up right next to Bill's property. This particular night, he had his family up there, and they claimed they were just up there to watch the lightning storms. But the problem was Dr. Hamlin would really egg people on. He's a real weasel. And Bill had enough of it and ordered him off the whole area. Just get out of here, I'm calling the cops. Now, if Bill wanted to do harm to him, he would not call the cops, obviously. Bill told me about this the next day, and that was pretty much all that was of it.
The first warrant was served on September 11th of 2001, but was postponed. It would not be until November of 2001 when the police would finally make an attempt to raid Cooper. Cooper's broadcasts at this time had already been looking into the federal government's compliance in the events of 9/11.
One of the things that makes everybody wonder why Bill's life was snuffed out in 2001 was because in June of that year, Osama bin Laden, who was a relative unknown at that time, Bill had been following the news and found a lot of curiosities and went on the air predicting that there would be a major attack in the United States and that it would be blamed on Osama bin Laden, but he was literally the scapegoat that was being used, not truly behind the attacks. So that, just a few months before the events of September 11th, and then of course Bill's life cut short shortly thereafter.
Supposedly, a CNN reporter found Osama bin Laden, took a television camera crew with him, went into Osama bin Laden's hideout, interviewed him and his top leadership, and he came out and told everybody, within 3 weeks, Osama bin Laden is going to attack the United States and Israel. Now, don't you think that's kind of strange, folks? You see, because the largest intelligence apparatus in the world, with the biggest budget in the history of the world, has been looking for Osama bin Laden for years and years and years, and can't find him. Some doofus jerk-off reporter with a camera crew waltzes right into his hideout and interviews him. And I'm telling you, be prepared for a major attack. But it won't be Osama bin Laden. It will be those behind the New World Order. I wonder what Osama bin Laden's targets are supposed to be. And if they don't, if this doesn't materialize in the next 2 or 3 weeks, it will eventually materialize because they haven't succeeded in getting the guns out of the hands of the American people, nor have they succeeded in taking our freedoms away. And so I can tell you with a certainty, they must do something terrible in order to stop this backlash and regain the sympathy of the mass herds of sheeple out there.
This is what I got when I typed in Google, did Bill Cooper predict 9/11? This is what Google gave me. Bill Cooper did not precisely predict the 9/11 attacks, but on June 28th, 2001, right before 9/11, he publicly claimed that Osama bin Laden would be framed for a major attack on a U.S. city, suggesting the government would use it as a pretext for war. He claimed the attacks were a conspiracy. I mean, that's Wikipedia. And then it says, June 28, 2001 broadcast. Bill Cooper stated that any future major terrorist attack blamed on bin Laden was a setup by the U.S. government. After the attack, immediately following the 9/11 attacks, he asserted that the U.S. would go to war in 2 or maybe 3 countries and promoted the controlled demolition theory. Again, that's Wikipedia. This was a man, Bill Cooper, who was killed for the truth. He was a man who did his research and he came to conclusions through data. He didn't sit around, claim some Harry Carey dream gave him these revelations. He actually gave proof. And he was right. And they killed him for it. He was a Christian. I don't necessarily agree with everything that Bill Cooper believed and did, because Bill was kind of like, oh, we need to rise up and save America with guns. We're not called to do any of that. And that's where I really disagree with Bill. But regardless of that, he had so much truth. He knew the inner workings of how this country was formed by the occult. And he, progressed in his understanding just like we all did. He started out, in partial truth, and he came closer and closer. He was talking about the secret societies and the occult long before any of us little YouTube junkies did. He got his information from books. He didn't get it from YouTube videos. See, we get it easily. He had to go out there and find these things in books, and he figured it all out. And if you listen to some of his videos, Bill Cooper, he knew how this whole thing worked, and he learned on his own through reading. I mean, it's amazing. Very bright guy. But, again, he had this idea where we had to rise up and, save America. And it was never supposed to happen like that anyways. This country was built by the occult. It had an expiration date the day before it was even built. This whole thing was a plan from the get-go. But Bill didn't see that at the time, which, whatever, that's okay. We're all learning and growing. But I just wanted to share this with you because it's absolutely amazing what he did. Through his research and study, he actually predicted a major attack, told who was going to be framed for it, bin Laden, and said what America would do after that, which is go to war, use it to go to war. It's a false flag attack. And he did it 3 weeks before that. And eventually they caught up with him, and they set up a little scenario, and they killed him. But that's pretty amazing to me, finding that information out on your own just by studying research, he was the man who really saw tomorrow. He was the real deal. There's so many Christians that are falling for this guy right here, and I'm talking good-hearted Christians that would help you out, give you food, give you the shirt off their back. They just don't understand what's going on. And that's why we have to really look at the Bible when it talks about the kings of the earth and the rulers thereof take counsel against the Lord and his anointed. Psalms chapter 2, verse 2. That doesn't mean all the kings of the earth and not Trump. This guy is 100% a part of it. Most of you guys understand that on this channel. But if there's somebody out there who doesn't get what's going on yet, this is all a sealed deal. Like I said, this country had an expiration date on it long before it was even created. This is all the occult. It is prophecy. And there's nothing that we can do about it except come out of Mystery Babylon. And Mystery Babylon has to be purged out of you first. And that's why you need God to show you the truth, so that these things aren't in your heart, right? Who the president is and what the politicians are doing, that those things, they don't control and manipulate you anymore, because it's all just a means to an end. It's all a game. It's all manipulation. It's all done by evil people, all of them, every single one. And like I said, there's not really much that we can do about it. We're not even told to do anything about it in the Bible. We're told to stay out of it and just live our decent life and speak the truth. And that's it.